Let's get some analysis now. Professor Michael Wesley joins me. He's the Deputy Vice-Chancellor International at the University of Melbourne. This conflict goes from bad to worse and war crimes really on display here, Professor.
Pretty hard to watch, isn't it, Kieran? It's just terrible. Unfortunately, we are not surprised at what Russia is doing here. All war is terrible, but I think the way that the Russians fight wars has been on clear display. You need only go back to the war in Chechnya or the operations the Russians undertook in Syria to see just how little regard for human life their way of war has, and we're seeing the full brunt of that now being waged in Ukraine. I think there is added savagery because the war is not going as easily as the Russians had planned, and it looks like they're increasingly becoming bogged down around these major centres.
So where to from here then? Does it become just a protracted sort of guerrilla war here?
Look, I think the answer to that is yes. I've been reading some analysis that says that Russia is seriously facing logistic issues that are starting to bite right now. And over the next 2 to 3 weeks, these logistic issues will get worse. The place where it will be easiest to resupply will be those areas that are closest to the Black Sea and the Russian and Belarusian borders, which is exactly the areas where the fighting is most intense at the moment. I would think that that's where the conflict will really start to concentrate and get extremely damaging.
And as a miscalculation, a strategic miscalculation, you spoke about the logistical problems the Russians are having, but the blowback internationally has been huge. The loss of face are massive. Does Putin care about any of that? Because I know there's a lot of analysis happening right now as to what the impact is in Beijing as the leadership there looks at this basically uniform reaction internationally, slamming Putin. Does that make them rethink their own aggressiveness in our region?
Look, absolutely. I think the absolute international isolation of Russia will have caused pause in Beijing. I think that this isolation of Russia will only increase as the footage of the terrible consequences of the Russian attack continue to flood out. And this will have an effect, I think, on Putin's support base and power base within Russia. I'm under no illusion that he rules Russia with a reign of absolute fear, and he has trusted lieutenants who are brutal in what they carry out. But history tells us that autocracies are generally highly fragile, and they are particularly fragile when the military operations that they carry out are not going as well as planned. So where does it go from here? I think there's a stalemate, and really the attention will increasingly be on how stable Putin's rule is within Russia.